UFC 200, Brock Lesnar versus Mark Hunt. I am so excited, guys. This is something that I really was wondering about for so long, and I put out videos about this exact fight. I think it might have 100,000 views at this point. I'm not sure, but I said in that video that I knew Brock was coming back. And I got a lot of thumbs down from a lot of people who didn't believe me and didn't believe this was true. And who knows? You know, I didn't even know if it was true, but knowing anything about Brock Lesnar, knowing his personality, you knew he was in on the game. He wanted to fight, and he was going to come back if he could. And he is. He's fighting Mark Hunt, who I personally think is a bad matchup for him. He's kind of indestructible in a lot of ways, Mark Hunt. He's really short for the weight class, and he's up there in weight. He always weighs in close to 265 pounds, so he's just like a wrecking ball. And Brock Lesnar's a wrestler. He wants to go out there and take you down. And he got into a lot of trouble in the Cain Velasquez fight. He fought another wrestler, and he fought a guy who was probably in his prime. That was prime Cain Velasquez that we saw versus Brock Lesnar at UFC 121. And that's when he lost his title. That was the end of Brock Lesnar. We saw him fight once more versus Alistair Overeem after that, and he lost that fight. So 2 losses in a row. Came into UFC on a loss, the Frank Mir loss, and then had that Heath Herring fight. And I remember that fight. I remember the first second. He kind of looked like an NFL running back or a tackle, something like that, running in there and tackling Heath Herring. And that worked. And I wonder if we're going to see the same thing in this fight. Are we going to see a lack of patience, a real will to get in there? Brock Lesnar going out there, no holds barred, leaving nothing behind, and just doing what he does best, going out there and steamrolling you onto the ground. Is that what we're going to see? Mark Hunt on his feet is a kickboxer, and he has some vicious leg kicks, great high kicks, real great striking, has a poor record of 12-10, but since the inception of Mark Hunt in MMA, he's been fighting the best. He was well known before he traveled into the sport, and he's went on some really big losing streaks. Around 2006 to 2010, he was losing all his fights, and he made a serious comeback in UFC, losing originally to Sean McCorkle, armbarred on the floor. That was a loss that he would like to forget about, and he went on a winning streak after that, beating Ben Rockhold. That was a big moment, and beating Stefan Struve, beating Roy Nelson, and then losing 2 in a row to the top 2 guys now, Fabrizio Verdum and Stipe Miocic. Right now he's on a 2-fight winning streak, and both those wins are in the first round, beating Frank Mir and Antonio Silva. So can Mark Hunt hit Brock Lesnar in the beginning when he has all his power and knock him out? Or is Brock Lesnar going to find a way to get the takedown? Also keep in mind, you know, I've said that Brock Lesnar isn't a good striker, and I think that's true, but he won his title at UFC 91, knocking out Randy Couture with a punch. He knocked him out, and we know from that fight that Brock has a lot of power in his fist. So Brock early on can land one. We're going to see this fight. I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar. I think it's a bad matchup for him, but he's a little younger, and if Mark Hunt, you know, comes in older and gets taken down, we might see Brock have his way with Mark Hunt. And that's what I'm thinking. Brock Lesnar by ground and pound. Peace out, guys. Can't wait to see this fight. UFC 200 co-main event. Awesome.